Rugby World Rankings after one round of the Six Nations, folks. Scotland are the winners in Rugby World Rankings terms. I won't say big winners because, to be honest, the change is not monumental, but they are certainly the winners of this week. We'll go through the results and how they affected the rankings and what are the possible permutations for round two, which with some more even matchups certainly sees a lot more on the cards in terms of potential changes. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how fair or not the rankings are. It has been a while since we've done a World Rankings video, so it's probably worth just putting out a gentle reminder. Three kind of key facts about how the World Rankings work. If you're 10 points or more above your opposition, you can't take any points off them. That's why it's harder if you're like the number one team in the world to stay number one team in the world, because every match you go into, you risk losing points, but there's not every match you're going to get points. If you're so far above your opponents, you're not going to get anything. Second part is if you're at home, your ranking gets scored at +3. So for example, New Zealand's on 90, Australia's on 81. You would think there's still a chance for those sides to both take points off each other if they play, even though New Zealand's almost 10 points ranked above the Aussies. But if New Zealand were at home, they'd be ranked +3, so that'd be 93. So they wouldn't be able to take anything off the Aussies. That's kind of how that works. And also with the results, you take more points if you win by 16 or more. You take less points if you win by 1 to 15. So it's kind of like a close or a big victory. That's the only marker they have. If you get 16, 17 or 100, it's all kind of scored the same. Also 1 to 15 scored the same. So how did the rankings change at the weekend? Well, France beat Wales 43-0. But France are ranked 88.51 and Wales are ranked 74.0. And France were at home. So guess what? France got nothing. That's why I say it's worth keeping in mind the 10-point rule. So no gain for France despite the massive win. Ireland beat England 27-22. Couple of late tries for England. Got it back within losing bonus point range. But Ireland's on 90.78. England are down on 82.31. And Ireland were at home. So no gain for Ireland because they were at home. They get scored at 93.78. So the distance is too vast for Ireland again to take any points. And then the final one, Scotland against Italy, 31-19. They did manage to take 0.23 off the Italians. So it is a slight gain for the Scots in Rugby World Rankings terms, but doesn't see them close in very much on the Argentinians, but it's still better than nothing. Scotland are kind of still in this spot in terms of the seedings for the number one tier at the next World Cup. 6th is the spot you want to be in, because if you're 7th, you're a tier 2 side basically in terms of the pools that you could be drawn in. If you're in 6th, you can't be drawn with 1 to 5. So 6th is a good spot to be. So Scotland getting points is certainly going to be important. But yeah, not much in the way of changes. Now this week coming, you got some big games. You got England taking on France from Twickenham. England can pass Scotland. But Scotland's also playing Ireland, so they've got to depend on how that result goes. But if Scotland lose, England win, England could certainly go past Scotland into that important 6th spot. But if Scotland win as well, then England will kind of stay where they are. France, if they win over England, can't catch New Zealand. The gap is still too far between those sides. But if they were to get a 16-plus win over England and Ireland were to lose, they could potentially pass the Irish. New Zealand would go up, Ireland would go down, and France would go up, if that makes sense. So, yeah, there's still potential for them to change ranking spots. Wales, can it get any worse? Well, yeah, if they lose to Italy, they could go below Georgia. So that would put them on the precipice of being another kind of tier down in terms of the Rugby World Cup draw. But that's where that is. Remember, Georgia is also going to be playing in the Europe Rugby Championship this weekend as well against Switzerland, but they'll be heavy favourites for that one. Wales could pass Italy, though, if they were to get a 16-plus win. So they need that kind of big margin if they are going to move in World Rankings terms. Ireland can take points off Scotland because they'll be away from home, but not enough to catch the Springboks. So number one spot is still secure for the Springboks this week. The Scots could pass the Argentinians if they win, which again, in terms of staying with a bit of a buffer zone away from 6th, a bit up that log, it certainly would be helpful for the Scots. So yeah, heaps to play for this weekend. All the teams can move around. Other games on, as I mentioned, Georgia playing Switzerland, Portugal taking on Belgium, Spain's taking on the Netherlands. So there's certainly other games in action. One point I forgot to mention is you don't take points from teams who aren't on the World Rankings list. So, for example, the British and Irish Lions who will be playing this year, they are not on the World Rankings because they are not like a national team. So when the Wallabies play them, there's going to be no points exchange on offer or at risk for that team. If you want a British and Irish Lions jersey, check the British and Irish Lions store down in the description. They're an affiliate of this channel, so if you want to get some gear ahead of the tour, check them out. Let them know 2 cents sent you. But yeah, Barbar's games, A games like Aussie A or Scotland A or any of those kind of games, none of those games counts for world ranking points. But yeah, you guys let us know your thoughts on the world rankings. How do you think things are stacking up? And I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.